Hello, I'm Joshua Cunningham. Welcome to my show, Invitations Answered, hosted at the wonderful and regal Groveland Gallery. This show isn't so much, I didn't begin with invitations answered and then create a bunch of paintings or answer a bunch of invitations. I just paint and I get invited into things, and as we were coming into this show, I realized there had been a lot of invitations, and the thread that connected all of the work was this invitation. And then even after putting the show together, there's this really beautiful time of reflecting on it and realizing how much answering an invitation was a part of my whole, and we won't go into all of it, but my whole life as an artist. And it's just one invitation after another, and just enough courage to say yes and give it a try. This painting, Touching Sunset, is from Touch the Sky Prairie down in just north of Laverne, Minnesota in Rock County. I did not know it existed when I first went to the prairie. It was 2010. My kids were little, and it was my first out of the house trip. And my dad was my wingman. And so we camped at Blue Mountain State Park. And I immediately hit the ground running and started painting. The roads are dusty around Laverne, and so I would leave my paintings to dry on the picnic table. And my dad would read books or ride his bike around camp when I wasn't around. And I came back and I said, "How's your book?" And he says, "I wouldn't know. You've turned me into a docent." And he says, "Well, word's out. Your paintings are on the picnic table and people have been coming around. And in fact, the folks who were camped across the way from us wanted to know because they wanted to tell you about a prairie that they just finished restoring." And so I didn't know at the time. I later learned it was Jim and Judy Brandenburg. They gave me a map and they said there's no signage there, but there's a parking lot. And so I decided to answer that invitation immediately. And I said, "Dad, let's go before I get distracted by other things." And so we went and we walked. And as we walked along, but every 50 yards, new plants, new birds, new butterflies. The wind sounded different in different parts of the prairie. I painted not this painting then. I painted a different painting in this spot then. And then I went back to it in 2018 after my dad passed away to remember this incredible trip. And then a couple years ago, I started this painting, and I was working it up from the study that I had done in 2018. And it was a quiet study, and I wanted to get some of that quietude, but the painting wasn't working. And that just happens. I really thought the prairie needed a bigger expression, and so that was the reason for going to this larger size. And so as I'm working and struggling, my son was away for a football camp, and it was kind of like his first away camp thing, and he sends me a picture on the phone of a sunset. "I thought you would like to see this." Now, when I went to Touch the Sky the first time, he was very little. And so I took Will's sky and I painted it into this scene. And the whole thing opened up in an incredible way, and in a way that's bigger than what we see. Because then there's the experience of realizing that your kid is looking at the world a bit differently because he's aware that you do.